Hi everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Blair, and today's video is another video in my If I Could Only Choose 5 series. And today we're talking about blush. So if you have never seen these videos, I'm doing a series here on my channel, and I'm calling it If I Could Only Choose 5. And I'm going to go through every makeup category. I did bronzers last time, and today is blush. I am including drugstore and high-end. So out of my whole collection, these are the 5 blushes that I would pick if I had to choose. These are the ones that made the cut. So if you're interested in my top 5 favorite blushes, please keep watching and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure to click your notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Let's go ahead and get started. I know I said bronzers were really difficult to narrow down to 5, but so were blushes. I have a lot of blushes that I really love, but I forced myself to pick and think if I had to pick and I knew I could only have these 5, which ones would they be? And I feel like I finally got it narrowed down to the right 5. If you've watched my videos before, pretty much none of these will be a surprise to you. I love these and use them regularly. And the first one is not a surprise at all. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic blush. And I have 2 of them. I have the shade Ecstasy, which is this one, and then I have Pillow Talk. Of the 2, if I had to pick, although that would be really hard for me, but if I had to choose one, I would go with Ecstasy. Mainly because I love peachy pinks. That's just kind of my preference in terms of blush color. And one of the things I love about these is you can get a different look with them depending on how you use it. So as you can see, there's a different color in the middle than there is in the outer ring. So how she says to apply it is you swirl around the edges for the high point of your cheek, and then you take the middle pop shade and you pop that on the apples of your cheek, which I do that sometimes, but a lot of times I just mix them both together and apply them that way. But I like that there's 2 different colors, so you can get a little bit of a different look depending on whether you mix or you use each color individually. I'll swatch both of these for you. Okay, so here you have Ecstasy, and this is Pillow Talk. So Ecstasy and Pillow Talk. So Pillow Talk is definitely a little more rosy, kind of a rosy nude. Everyone knows the iconic Pillow Talk color. And then Ecstasy is a true peachy pink. And I love these, you guys. They're the prettiest blushes. They are not matte and they're not shimmery. They're right in between. They're kind of, they give you a little bit of color with a little bit of a sheen too. So it's kind of like wearing a highlighter and a blush. When I use these, I do not feel the need to wear a highlight at all. Her blushes do come in a ton of colors too. These are just the only colors that I have, but I love them both. Honestly, Pillow Talk leans a little bit more nude. So if you have something where you want your blush to be a little more muted, I would go with Pillow Talk. But if you're wanting that really summertime, cheek, bronzy, peachy, like you've been out in the sun kind of look, I would choose Ecstasy, but I love them both. They are definitely pricey. They're $40 a piece, but I will say I've had both of these for at least a year, and I have plenty left. These are gonna last me forever, and they still look exactly like they did the day I got them. So I would highly recommend. I love Charlotte Tilbury, as you guys know, and I knew that these had to be in my top 5. Number 2 is the newest to my collection, and I talk about this one all the time. So this is also not a shock, but I knew when I decided to film the blush version of this video, this was going to be in it. And I'm obsessed with the Fenty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blush, and this is the shade Petal Poppin. As you can see, I've used quite a bit of this. They describe this as a light pink, a soft baby pink, but I think I guess maybe it is. It has a little bit of a peachy undertone to it, in my opinion, but it is a pink. So there is Petal Poppin. So pretty. One of the things I love about these from Fenty, and I guess depending on the person, this can be considered a bad thing, but I personally love it, and it's the fact that these are very sheer blushes, but they're buildable. So if you apply some, you feel like you want a little bit more color, it's very easy to go back in and just build up a little bit more. They're just so easy to apply. You can use your fingers very easily. You can use a brush. I usually use kind of a dome-shaped kabuki brush and kind of tap mine on that way, but you can also use your fingers. I love that as well. I also really like to put this on my lips sometimes, and then I'll put like a lip balm over the top, or vice versa. I'll put lip balm on first and then kind of blot some of this on my lips as well, and I just love it. I absolutely adore these from Fenty. I have said multiple times I'm definitely going to buy another shade. I just don't know which one, but I love these. I don't ever see myself being without these. They are, I guess, a little bit pricey. Not as pricey as a few of the other ones I'm going to show you, but they're $20 a piece. They are a little bit on the small side, but honestly, who uses up a gigantic blush? I mean, especially with blush, you just don't need much. This was also one of those products that I knew as soon as I tried it. The first time I tried it, I knew I loved it. You know how sometimes you try makeup and it's like that? As soon as you try it, 10 seconds in, you know that you're gonna love it. That's how it was with this blush. I just can't stop reaching for it. It stays in my little everyday makeup container that sits on my vanity right here because I love it. And especially, like I said, for spring and summer, I love a cream blush. You cannot beat it. I absolutely love this one from Fenty. For number 3, this will probably not be a surprise either. These are so nice. So nice, and they're $6. The e.l.f. Primer Infused blushes. Oh my gosh. And this is the one that I have. I've used it in a few videos. It's called Always Punchy. These are $6, you guys. And they are so nice. So nice. Like, look at this color. That's Always Punchy right there. That's the Fenty blush. This is Always Punchy by e.l.f. This is $6. I was blown away by this the first time I tried it. If you saw my full face of e.l.f., then you saw my reaction to this. I just could not get over the fact this is $6. They come in a ton of shades too. This is just the only one that I have. This kind of reminds me of Nars Orgasm, but matte. So there is no shimmer in this. This is the only matte blush that I have in my top 5 because you guys know I love a good glow. I love a little bit of a sheen in my blush typically, but I don't even care with this one. Although I do believe some of the colors come with a little bit of shimmer in them, but this one does not. This one is just a matte peachy pink, and Always Punchy is a perfect name because that's what this color looks like to me. It looks like fruit punch. And this is also the blush I have on right now. I love these. I want to get some more. And the other thing I've noticed with these that's really nice, and I assume it's why they're called the Primer Infused blush, this blush does not seem to wear off on me. It lasts for quite a while because, you know, blush is typically the first thing that kind of wears off on your face, but not these. These last. I don't know how they do it or what the secret ingredient is, but I absolutely love these. Actually, I've tried the Primer Infused bronzer from e.l.f. as well, and I also really like that. But of the two, I prefer the blush. I love these so much. One thing I will mention, just to keep in mind. They are a little bit powdery, so when you dip your brush in, they do have a good bit of kickback. So just make sure you're tapping off your brush before you're going into your face so you don't get too much color. But other than that, I have nothing bad to say about these. I adore it. Will definitely be buying more of them and would highly, highly recommend. Number 4, I chose not only because I love it, but because it's kind of sentimental to me. And what's funny is I mentioned in my top 5 bronzer video that the first bronzer I ever got, high-end bronzer, was Nars Laguna. And the first high-end blush that I ever got was Nars Orgasm. For that reason, I knew it had to be included in this video. But besides that, everybody knows this color. This is a gorgeous peachy pink blush. This one definitely does have a little bit of a golden shimmer to it. It gives you that kind of golden peach look to your cheeks, which I know is not everybody's favorite, but I personally love it. Let me swatch it for you. And I have had this blush, you guys, for a long time. In fact, mine's not as pigmented as it used to be because it's that old, but I just can't bring myself to get rid of it. I guess I should just buy a new one. But there is Nars Orgasm, and I just love it. This is the perfect summer blush. The Nars blushes are a little on the pricey side. They are $30. So if you don't want to spend the money on the Nars, I would get the Milani Luminoso blush, and that one actually almost made it in my top 5, but I just felt like it was too similar to the Nars Orgasm, so I couldn't choose both. But I do love Luminoso from Milani. I use it all the time. But I had to go with my Nars Orgasm just because it's so sentimental and I do love it. I will, honestly, when I can't get any more color out of here, I will repurchase it because it is a little bit not as intense color payoff anymore, but it's because I've had it for years, but I can't bring myself to get rid of it. So I had to include my Nars Orgasm as number 4. And number 5 will probably also not be a surprise, but they are my Hourglass Ambient Lighting blushes. I have 2. I have Diffused Heat and Luminous Flush. This is Luminous Flush and Diffused Heat. So they're similar, but they are a little bit different. Luminous Flush is a little bit peachier, whereas Diffused Heat is definitely more of a pink. I love them both. I was trying to decide if I had to pick one, which one I would pick. I really don't know because I love them both. Let me swatch them for you. Again, these are just beautiful. I mean, you can't go wrong with either of these. I will say the Hourglass blushes are not as pigmented as some of these other ones, but that's kind of just how they are. Okay, so I did not swatch these very well. This is Diffused Heat, and this is Luminous Flush. Diffused Heat, Luminous Flush. I know they're bad swatches. Of the 2, I love them both, but I would probably choose Diffused Heat, mainly because this one is a very natural blush color. It looks like how you would actually flush if you were just hot, or you've gotten back from exercising or something. That's what this color reminds me of, and I love it. I love it year round. Spring, summer, fall, I love it no matter what time of year it is. The Hourglass blushes are not intensely pigmented, but they're like the ambient powders, finishing powders, which they are actually like the bronzers marbleized in with the finishing powders. So you definitely get more of a diffused kind of blush look, more so than a very intense, like I just swiped blush on my cheek kind of look. They kind of remind me of the Charlotte Tilbury blushes, but a little more sheer and a little more kind kind of ethereal looking. That's what I think of when I think of Hourglass powders. They are just not like anything else. So finely milled, and I love them. Again, they're a little bit pricey at $40, but if you can wait on a sale or something and you want one of these, I totally think they're worth the money. I think they're beautiful. They come in a pretty decent shade range. I want to say like between 8 and 10 shades. I love them all. I would love to have them all, but I only have 2, and I use these all the time. This is kind of what I go for when I don't really have time to sit and think about what blush I want to pick. I will pick one of these 2 from Hourglass just because I always love how they look. They're easy to apply, and I just love them. One last thing I did want to share with you is my favorite blush brush. And let me tell you, I have been through quite a few brushes trying to find my perfect blush brush. I feel like it's really hard to find. You don't want something too dense, but you don't want something too flimsy and not enough bristles to pick up color. It needs to be right in the middle, and I finally found it. And I use it all the time, so you've seen it before. It's the Smashbox Buildable Cheek brush. This brush is not really dense, but it's not really fluffy either. It's right in between, and it's the perfect size for me. It just fits so well right here on my cheek, and I use just basically the tip of it to slightly or very lightly brush on my blush, and it works beautifully every time. I think this brush is around $30. I'll put the price up on the screen. I got mine at Macy's, but you can also get them from Smashbox.com as well. All of the Smashbox brushes I absolutely love them. I have not had any issue with the quality. I've washed them numerous times, haven't had any issues with the bristles falling out. You can just tell they're really good quality. You can tell just by holding the handle. And this, I have finally found, is my perfect blush brush. I love it so much. Honestly, I don't see myself using anything else for blush now that I found this. I love it. The size, the shape, everything about it I love, and it just applies my blush exactly like I like it. I don't like intense looking blush. I want it to look as natural and blended with my bronzer as possible, and that's exactly what this does for me. So if you need a new brush and you don't mind spending a little bit more, I think this one from Smashbox is totally worth it. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed my second video in my If I Could Only Choose 5 series. I'm really having fun filming these videos because it's forcing me to go through my collection and really decide what I love the most, and it's really interesting the things that I feel are worthy of being in my top 5. So I'm really enjoying these videos. I hope you guys are too. Let me know in the comments what category I should film next, and please subscribe before you leave today and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss out on my next video in my If I Could Only Choose 5 series. Also, make sure to go follow me over on Instagram at the same username, simply.blair. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.